Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event with your hosts, TB Scout and MMA, and
The Guru back again for UFC Vegas 74. KaraFrance taking on Amir Albazi in your first non-title flyweight main event since 2017. Rare stuff happening this weekend. Cannot wait to break it down with my man, TB. Listen, we missed everybody last week, but don't listen. We got 12. I think it's 12 straight weeks of fights, and we're not going to miss a single freaking one.
no, sir, we got a fucking roll going on. What up, Triple C? That's right, Mushroom. Let's go. And then Tim Elliott cheats in the cage. His wife cheats in bed. Amen. We'll get to that when the time is right, right?
Sheesh.
Oh, and let's go, baby. Daz, what up, man? Thanks to all the people in the house. First thing, before we get down to business, the one thing we ask you to do to help out our little show over here, just throw a little like on the video. Please subscribe to our channel. Every little bit helps, and really, we just love providing the free content for you guys. Now, we'll get back to those amazing guests starting next week, all right? So, without further ado, got ourselves pretty awesome. How rare is this? A flyweight main event that's not a title fight. Is this the Guru title contender eliminator special?
I mean, you have to figure that if the winner of this fight is not next up for the title shot, he's one away.
Right. So this is the Guru special right here. You're not.
I mean, I'm
next for the
listen.
title.
I love the implications of this fight. I love the fact that you've got KaraFrance coming back off of that really tough fight versus Brandon Moreno, where some people say maybe he was starting to look a little better in that second round, maybe not. Yeah, I just think it's a really, really interesting spot for him to come back to. And Amir Albazi, 29 years old, a surging up and comer, hasn't lost since 2019, which I guess isn't that long ago, but it's 5 straight fights. So dude's on a roll, man. And you kind of have to like what he's shown so far through his UFC career, which is why I think this is so exciting.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I mean, flyweight, we're talking about some of the highest level technical abilities as far as weight classes go. So this fight's going to be exciting as fuck, man. And dude, I mean, right now we got completely even -110, -110. KaraFrance versus Amir Albazi. The over 3.5, very weird. Over 3.5 at -160, and the under 3.5 at +130. Albazi going to come in. He is 1 year younger, 1 inch taller, but giving up 1 inch of reach. So definitely a pretty interesting dynamic in that regard. And you actually take a look over at the striking stats, and I mean, things aren't as far apart as you might expect with, the level of striker KaraFrance and Albazi being known as the grappler here. But I mean, I was pretty impressed with the defensive ability of Amir Albazi. He doesn't just go recklessly about his striking his striking in general. He generally goes out there with the jab, uses it to set up a nice 1-2. He'll switch it up with a nice uppercut from the rear, and he shows some nice body kicks, leg kicks. I think Albazi does a pretty good job of mixing up his strikes in general. He's on the front foot, trying to cut off the cage, but he's not overly aggressive. And when he gets your back against the cage, he will shoot for the takedowns. I mean, he's shooting almost 5 takedowns per 15 minutes. He's landing 2.5, 50% efficiency. And we take a look at some of the names. I know it's Alessandro Costa and Francisco Figueiredo, Zalga Zhumagulov. Some of these guys have actually put up a pretty decent fight. I mean, Zalgas is a pretty decent name. But when it comes down to it, I think Amir Albazi's just got a bit more talent to draw from an all-around perspective. And I think KaraFrance kind of needs the perfect fight here for at least 3 rounds to put his stamp on the victory. I think his power is a bit overstated. I mean, don't blink. KaraFrance, versus the Prince. I didn't give their proper nicknames to start here, but don't blink. Let's be serious. I mean, KaraFrance, how many decisions did he get in a row in the UFC?
Stop. So, a lot of people don't know, and you're not even necessarily that guy because you're maybe one of those guys, right? People a while ago, coming off of Tough, the whole joke on KaraFrance was exactly that: is he was don't blink, but he had all these decisions, right? A lot of people that have been watching UFC a little bit longer, literally remember that was the rumble. Now to just hear the rumble of oh, Kai Kara's power. You got to watch out. He'll ice you. He's really like, I mean, bro, like, is he really that good? Is he the flyweight Ngannou? No, he's not. He's not even Francis Figueiredo. He's not even Davidson. Sorry, he's not even Davidson Figueiredo in terms of the power. So it's just I'm not exactly sure what people exactly expect to see. I think also a lot of people, and rightfully so, are drawing on Kai KaraFrance's performance versus Askar Askarov as the litmus test of, oh well, Albazi's not going to get any takedowns and he's going to get tired, and then Kai's going to smash him. Like, I mean, maybe I just don't really see it that way. I felt like the way that Askarov pulled up to that fight, like, homie did not look good at all. A long years of layoffs and surgeries and a lot of nonsense. Like, he just, and I don't, he's not even in, I think he retired. Like, I think homie was just done. So
Yeah.
and again, and I'm not really, I guess I am taking stuff away from Kai. I'm really not trying to. The guy has unbelievably athletic takedown defense. You saw it in that fight. But let's just be real. If you were watching that fight, you watched Askar control him for round 1. You watched him get his back in round 2 and round 3 at some point. If you've watched Kai throughout his career, you watched Bontarine and hold him down for the entirety of round 1 until he got gassed out. A guy with no cardio, struggles to make weight himself, got iced with 10 seconds left by Kai KaraFrance. That's what started this huge movement of Kai's power. Like, I'm just not sold yet. If he ices Amir Albazi, okay, you got it. I believe you. Facts. But I just don't really see that here. And if I'm just being honest, like, the books kind of agree with us. You look at how the books line the finishing potential in this fight. They give all the finishing potential to Amir Albazi.
Oh, yeah.
You see that. You see that with the lines. So the double chance, Kai KaraFrance by finish is plus 380. But Albazi by finish is plus 180. Your boy, you're talking getting a knockout. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, the lines don't really add up that way. Albazi is more dangerous, could get the ground and pound, could get the submission, and could also just control him and confuse him for 25 minutes. Is there any reason for us to think that Albazi doesn't have good enough cardio, or possibly even the better cardio?
No. And I think what it comes down to is Albazi should just be the better athlete too. I think he's a bigger dude. I think Askarov, he looked like malnourished, like emaciated. Albazi, I mean, he's got the thick six pack. The dude comes in incredible shape, and I think the KO at plus 550 is alive as fuck. I mean, Kai KaraFrance has been knocked down 4 times in the UFC. Kai KaraFrance got knocked down by Royval before he gets choked out. You know, this guy has been finished 3 times by knockout, 3 times by submission, and Amir Albazi works those body kicks just pretty nicely. So if anyone can find a liver shot here, I mean, I wouldn't put it past Albazi having finishing potential on the feet and not just on the mat. Minus 110 Albazi, I fucked it up. I already played minus 125 earlier in the week. So oopsies. Take the minus 110, fellas.
Listen, and you also look at his stats. Look at, you talked about the striking stats being close enough, which they are. Then you look at the grappling stats. Dude is shooting for 5 takedowns per 15 minutes, and you're like, okay, well, that's maybe not as much as 6 or 8 or, you know, some of the other numbers we see. Yeah, but he's also in control 40% of the time that he's fighting. So not only is he constantly in control, he's constantly looking to get back into control. So across a 5-round fight, I really do see him not only winning this fight, I actually do see him drowning Kai at some point. I'm concerned about his durability, or just his just in general, you've seen him get subbed by Royval. Why not get subbed here? Under 3.5, I don't mind it at all. Minus 110 Albazi, I don't mind it at all. I'm licking my chops. I'm hoping I get a plus 100. I saw some minus 105s on if you got a couple of different outs.
Wow. So. Yeah. So official pick, Amir Albazi. The Chronic Combat boys are coming together on that one. You gotta love it, and keep an eye out whether it's whether we're doing a money line or we find some type of prop we like. But it's coming pretty clear. I think we're getting some value on the Albazi side here, so don't be too surprised.
I like Albazi and I like him by finish. So plus 180 plus, that's nice to me. Nice little shot.
Love it. All right. Well, we're on to our co-main event. We got Alex Bruce Leroy.
Don't fuck around with that.
And it's Caceres.
Caceres.
I do it every fucking time. God damn it. Alex Caceres. Bruce Leroy versus Daniel
the Pit
Pineda, but shout out like Best Fight Picks because he also might be on like the what was it, the Garden of Dreams vitamins from last fight against Tucker Lutz, right? What type of vitamins was he on? Because we won good money on Daniel Pineda going to the fountain.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I was willing to pull the trigger, especially by finish. Fucking Daniel, but Tucker Lutz, man. Oh, and then you go look at the athleticism.
Wait, Tucker Lutz you forget Tucker Lutz was the biggest favorite on that card. Like,
yeah, which was disgusting.
So this is lessons learned. This is why we do a betting show, why we talk about it. Like, line issues. Did the guy earn the price tag? Of course he didn't, and you paid for it if you picked him.
Yeah,
like me.
Yeah.
No. I didn't really bet it, but I did pick Tucker Lutz.
I went back, watched that fight, and Tucker Lutz. I mean, he's the classic stiff bodybuilder striker that just comes in, and I mean, he's open to being countered. He's got no real defense. I think Caceres.
Just say Bruce Leroy if you're
Bruce Leroy.
Alex Caceres.
Yeah, geez, but Bruce Leroy. He's much fleeter of foot. Jeez, why am I struggling so much, Guru?
I don't know. Maybe take a chill pill. I don't know what to do with you. Caceres, like Alex Caceres. It's all right there.
Yeah, it's all right there. Well, I just changed the accent on it. I'm so weird. Anyway, so I think the southpaw in this matchup, the better athlete, the guy with a 3-inch height advantage, 3.5-inch reach advantage, 3-inch leg reach advantage. I think that Bruce Leroy is really going to be successful in this matchup. I think he should be able to stay away from the ground game. I don't think he'll be too far out of water if it does go to the ground. But I think he's shown a pretty good job of stuffing those takedowns and staying safe in general. I think if you can get a good bet on round 2 or round 3 for Bruce Leroy here, I mean, I would love to see what would happen there because Pineda, the dude just does not go to the scorecards. So I think that there could be a lot of, and maybe you like, oh, Pineda's going to keep it going. He's still going to, Flintstone vitamins, the Garden of Dreams or whatever. But I think I got the better athlete here, the bigger guy, 3 years younger, 3-inch advantage everywhere else. Give me Bruce Leroy, and I like him by round 2 or round 3. As I search for those numbers, go ahead, Mr. Guru.
Wow, what a specific breakdown. I'm not exactly sure that I've got the same dart throw that you've got. I like the idea though.
Plus 600 and plus 1,000 for round 2 and round 3.
You might find me throwing a little grandma's couch cushion on that. I do like Alex Caceres here. Not only is he the younger fighter, he is the larger fighter. He has the numbers on his side, the pace numbers. He has the striking accuracy and defense on his side. He's got the power advantage. He's got, honestly, in my opinion, possibly even the better jiu-jitsu, but that's like a whole different situation. I just think Bruce Leroy is a little bit more crafty than Daniel Pineda, but there is no discounting Daniel Pineda's 19 submission wins. That is significant. I just feel like I want to take a stab on this fight. I kind of like the fight exact method, right? So the fight to end by a specific method, the fight to end by submission, plus 185. So you look at both of these guys. Alex Caceres has 7 submission wins and 7 submission losses. And Daniel Pineda, like we just mentioned, has 19 submission wins and 6 submission losses. So I kind of like that, especially since when you're looking at the books that have the under 1.5 juice to the tits, you're playing, you're plus 145 minus 180 on the over 1.5. So I'm not really sure where where the money, where the value is. So I kind of like something like that. But I really like your dart throw too.
Yeah, an interesting note on this fight. We'll have one that definitely blows its roof off next week, but between 16 submission attempts for Bruce Leroy and 10 for the Pit, I mean, 26 total submission attempts in one fight. I see where you're going too, Guru. So depends on whose grandma's couch you're trying to dig into.
Listen,
But I think we got a couple dart throws, huh?
And listen, and just for my sake, and all of the four methods they show you for exact method of victory, decision is plus 130, KO plus 175, submission plus 185, and the draw, of course, plus 5,000. So of the three that we're talking about, realistically, it's the highest priced one. But this is how these guys win fights. It just didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think this ends up looking more like the Andre Fili fight before the eye poke than like the Herbert Burns. It'll look like the Cub Swanson fight. I just think we got a faster,
I don't
better
know that
striker.
Caceres is not the boxer that Fili is. Caceres wants to strike with your feet as you watch him kick Julian Erosa in the face. It's just not necessarily how he fights.
You know, I will say one last point here, and this is the reason why you won't find Alex Caceres on my betting slip this weekend, is that we're in the smaller octagon and we got that likes the cleaner fight, the better accuracy, better defense, and skirting around the outside and throwing kicks. How well does that work against, the fountain of youth, Daniel Pineda?
Pineda is look at the amount of takedowns. Bruce Leroy, while he is a good submission grappler, he likes to stay on bottom and search from there. Look at his takedown attempts. He doesn't even shoot one takedown per 15 minutes. Not only is Daniel Pineda attempting 6 and landing 1.5, but he's, as you watch in his last fight versus Tucker Lutz, he constantly clinches him up against the cage. If you're clinching and holding Caceres against the cage, that actually works to your benefit. No, because like you just said, he wants to be at distance, he wants to be at range, and he wants to be moving. If Pineda can hold him against the cage or put him down, it's a problem. So I like Caceres has always been a fun fighter, but is constantly somebody that doesn't rise to the occasion. Loses to Crone Gracie, submission, loses to Sadiq Youssef. He's lost to Yair Rodriguez and Jason Knight. He sometimes just doesn't take that next big step. Julian Erosa was probably his best finish of his career.
Yeah, you make good points, and if you can land a big enough shot on Erosa in round 1, you're going to knock him out. So
yeah,
something we've learned. Landing shin to chin, that'll do it.
So I'm Caceres to me. While I like him at the money line, like he's not like he to me he hasn't been trustworthy. He's just not trustworthy. And Pineda just showed you that he may have some sort of vegetable diet that Rob Wilkinson is on, or Thiago Santos. Fucking PFL, the fucking Juice League.
Juicy. All right, well, I think we broke down the fuck out of that fight. I don't expect anyone to have big money on other side. So, but the official pick goes Caceres.
Yeah, unless I see something at weigh-ins.
Yeah, that's true. So keep an eye on our official picks at the end of the week. But that's where our flags are now. So now we move on to our next fight here. The What the Fuck Are You Doing Here award. We have Jim A10 Miller versus Jared Flash Gordon. Not just Flash Gordon for whatever his nickname was, but he's back in the octagon in a flash after his headbutt debacle against Bobby Green. I mean, he didn't actually it's not like he really got knocked out on the feet per se, but
yes,
he got knocked out at the end of the day.
Not only did he get knocked down and fucked up by the head, he then took 3 or 4 ground and pound shots to a legitimate finish where Paul Felder goes, "What the fuck?" Basically, Jesus, that's not fair. He was salty as a motherfucker. But Jared's a tough motherfucker. But I mean, you went out.
Yeah, and so for a guy, Jared Gordon, where he's been knocked out 4 times in his career, not counting the no contest there, which deservedly so. It's not like it was a punch that dropped him; it was a legitimate diving headbutt. But Jared Gordon facing Jim Miller, does he have the same type of things to worry about defensively that our friends Nicholas Mota and Eric Gonzalez had to worry about themselves recently. I think that Jared Gordon's 63% striking defense at this stage of his career tells me all that I need to know. And seeing him win a top control decision against the guy the likes of Joe Selecki, who, oh, wait, hold on, let's go to Jim Miller. Yeah, he lost to Joe Selecki from, oh, what was that? Joe Selecki got top control. So even if you want to go simple MMA math, if you want to go, oh, Jim Miller just really didn't look like he had the juice anymore against Alexander Hernandez of all people. You're going to lose a decision to Alexander Hernandez? Come on, man. I mean, we're talking Alexander Hernandez, man. That's all that needs to be said.
I mean, yeah, I don't know about that. Alexander Hernandez put on probably one of the best fights of his career. Look at that. When was the last time Alexander Hernandez threw 223 strikes and didn't fucking have a heart attack?
Well, I mean,
Like,
because there's zero actual
that's
threats
coming
coming
right because
back.
listen, because the power advantage from Alexander Hernandez was significant. One thing that will not be had here is Jared Gordon's power because there isn't that much there. What I
But
will say is that it was weird of you to me to call out the distance defense of Jared Gordon at 63 when you have Jim Miller's defense at 62. But
just specifically talking about the fact that the only way I
way
think that he loses is getting knocked out on the feet by Jim Miller. But I think he's safe.
oh
That was my only point.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point. Now I do understand that. What I would say though is I really like, and this is where I'm going to base my pick on, and at the same price as Alex Caceres. To me, this is my point. Look at those pace numbers. Look at the pace. Look at distance. Distance landed minute at distance 7-4, while they're absorbing the same amount of strikes. And Jared Gordon does not have a small sample size. So that is a legitimate stats. I really like Jared Gordon here, and I think he just simply outpaces him to a decision. He's just going to outwork him. He's going to outclinch him. You just mentioned how he's going to be better on the feet there. As long as Jared doesn't do something stupid, this should be a layup. It should, Jared should just be a level above. And I think that's why they gave him the matchup. But, Jim Miller was coming in and face Ludwig Klein. I didn't necessarily like that matchup for him either. Although at least Klein, he was going to come in like a ball of fire and then fizzle out. Right. You know what I mean? He's got
Isn't that kind of what Jim Miller does though? As far as like, if he's not getting a round 1 or early round 2 finish, doesn't he just fizzle out too? I mean,
yeah, kind of. I mean, listen, when you look at who he's lost to, I mean, again, other than like the backstage here of his career where he's losing to Scott Holtzman and Vink Pichel and Joe Selecki, Charles Oliveira, Dan Hooker, Trinaldo, Pettis, Poirier, Diego Sanchez, Michael Chiesa, Beneil Dariush, Donald Cerrone. I mean, these guys are just the best in the world. So you gotta come out there and really beat him. Remember when he's such a fucking major underdog to Roosevelt Roberts and he comes out there and smokes him? Like he's got that dog in him and you can't count him out. He's A10, baby. But working his way towards UFC 300, and I am like 99% sure that he's gonna be there. Yeah. I'm basically 100% sure at this point. So yeah, I like Jared Gordon, and specifically if I'm banking on anything, it's the pace numbers. I really, really like the pace numbers. I think he outworks them. And look at all those grappling numbers. That's a lot of green for Jared Gordon.
So. Yeah, 38% control, and Jim Miller gives up 31% control. And Jared Gordon, his only submission loss was the end of round 3 against a gigantic Grant Dawson, where he absolutely wore him out. Jim Miller's not going to wear him out over 3 and get a rear naked choke at the end of the fight. That's not his game per se. So I feel safe on this one. But I mean, is it a parlay piece? Is that what we're doing? Or are we taking
that's kind of what I'm saying. I like
Gordon and over.
Gordon. Yeah, I like Jared Gordon. I like Gordon in the over. I like him round 3 decision. If he's going to get a finish, it's going to be something late when he's tired, right? After some damage. So if we can get some decent numbers on those, of course, FanDuel doesn't have anything ready yet.
It's kind of crazy how far behind they are on everything this week.
They don't give a fuck. They literally don't give a fuck.
Jared Gordon and over 1.5 is -150. I mean, that's really probably not getting you enough
I
value
like
though.
fight to go the distance here at -135. I feel like FanDuel opens that up at like a -122, and I like that. I don't necessarily think that there's a finish here. You
Even
know,
if Jim Miller wins?
no. Listen, if Jim
So why
Miller
not take Jared Gordon by decision at +120 then?
+120 though,
Yeah, I feel you. I feel
I,
you.
I'm
Let's
I'm
not
really
force it. There's no
I'm
no
yeah
need to force the
I'm
spot.
interested to see what a round 3 decision Jared Gordon prop is. And I'm not listen, if you and yes, you know what, dude? If Jim Miller's getting the finish, it's Jim Miller round 1. So take your Jim Miller round 1 or your Jim Miller round 2 dart throw if that's what you need to do to hedge your shot. But like I don't that's not how I'm living. I think Gordon's going to be all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't come into this show planning to bet this fight until I really started talking the line. So let's not. No need to force it here. Like,
Interesting.
let's be serious. It's
Interesting.
don't
That's an
touch
interesting
Gordon.
thought.
Yeah,
That's an interesting thought, Anthony. You feel like Miller's in a good spot. Why do you feel like that is? If you're still hanging around,
yeah.
um, I'm
Would
curious.
appreciate all you guys in the chat. Keep it firing. We love all your comments, your bets, and all your ideas. We'll make sure to bring it up. We love you guys.
Yeah,
But
very,
yeah.
very interesting. I'm
So
definitely ready to move on, unless Anthony
let's do
wants to
it.
tell us why he
No.
thinks we shouldn't touch Gordon. Other than
Well,
other than the short notice, short notice makes sense to me.
yeah.
But he's a consummate professional.
All
Talk
right.
about a fight that you really, at the end of the day, let's just be real, shouldn't touch. It's got to be
No
this one.
touching. So we got Tim Elliott. Oh wait, Gordon's
Oh wait,
lack of
we got
momentum.
yeah.
Miller has better skills than Gordon. His fight skill. Yeah,
Maybe
I can
maybe
understand.
at Miller. I feel like maybe at Miller's best.
Yeah,
When Miller was at his apex.
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you kind of need Gordon to fight the
I
perfect
really,
game and
I
stay away.
really liked what Jared Gordon was doing against Bobby Green. That line was sliding as he was moving towards a favorite there. He was piecing Bobby Green up,
Yeah.
finishing him with the end of his combinations. And like Dominic Cruz was highlighting, the high IQ of Gordon to be able to switch up his fight style to be able to
Hmm.
beat Bobby Green was really, really impressive. But hey, I never hate a dog shot. So get after it, Anthony. Appreciate that.
Also, very interesting. We got another fight at -180 and +155. We got Tim Elliott, um, Tim the Cook Elliott versus Victor El Magnifico Altamirano. Tim Elliott, shout out, man. I mean, feel terrible. Fucking Gina Mazzano and Kevin Kroon just doing that man dirty.
That's
And then his head
crazy.
coach just fucking doing him dirty. And then when
Yo,
he's in the
the head
octagon,
coach.
he's
eh,
cheating like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he had moved out to Vegas too, and shout out to anybody that ever needs help. Make sure you seek if his coach committed suicide when he got out there, basically, and famous coach out in Las Vegas there, and then again goes out to Kansas City, he can't even hang out in Kansas City anymore because they're walking around talking that they're single. It's just a really, really tough situation for him. If anybody gets a chance to listen to his interviews, you should. Tim Elliott, a savage of this sport, a dog of this sport, a tough winner. Gave Demetrius Johnson a run for his money a little bit back in the day. Just a real dog, a real savage. Pulled out some dog money for us against Tajirul and Bekov. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Tim,
Jeez, is that what
Tim,
Gina
I seem
said?
like
Oh my God. Is
yeah,
that what
that's
Gina
crazy, yo.
Mazzani and Kevin Kroom said? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Fuck.
Literally crazy. Listen, Tim's a cool guy, man. He works really hard for his kids.
Yeah.
Kid anyway. I
Him.
respect that. But I just listen. Is he Mackenzie Dern right now? Is he gonna be able to pull that through the fire? Right? Is he gonna be able to really use that as a sick motivation for him? I almost kind of am leaning towards he can, especially with him working with his new camp. That TBA is going to inform us a little bit more about,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, definitely. I mean, Tim Elliott, he's going to be giving up 1 inch height, 4 inches of reach, 1 inch leg reach. He's got the funky style, though. It's just that Altamirano does similar types of things. As far as funky style, switching stances, throwing unorthodox stuff. He even says in his interview, "Oh yeah, I'm used to being the unorthodox guy and awkward, so we'll see how it goes." But I think Tim Elliott is focused in here. He's training with Chris Brennan's son, the what was it, the Strangler. His son, that's actually one of the bigger stars right now in Bellator, Lucas Brennan. So they bring him in. They're paying for all his nutrition on a tight training schedule. He's living without his daughter now. He's like on his own at this camp, locked down, basically like held accountable, training like a pro athlete for the first time in his career. It's just this is also a guy that had to get his metal implants replaced with plastic ones and his surgically repaired ACL, LCL, PCL, MCL, and meniscus injuries all in the same knee, then dealt with issues in the other knee after. 36 years old at flyweight. I can't trust Tim Elliott at minus 180, even if he's my pick here. I can't come around on the Altamirano play because when he does get his top control, he does nothing to consolidate it. He doesn't go for any finishes from top. And it's really not the most impressive takedowns. He's really just kind of like leaning into the guys, throwing up a lazy ass double leg. And I mean, when you're facing the likes of Vinicius Salvador and really that's the only guy who was successful taking down, but he goes 3 of 22 on him. I don't think that there's any high level of success overall for Altamirano when it comes to the grappling in this fight. You watch him in his one submission loss, and this is only back in 2019. His one submission loss against a UFC veteran in Jared Brooks, right? He gets taken down within the first 10 seconds. Just very long and gangly and doesn't really show the type of control to. And he looks better against Carlos Hernandez, stuffing 7 out of the 9 takedowns. Only control for 82 seconds. Stuffing 1 out of 6 against Salvador. I think Elliott's grappling is in a different type of place than the guys that Altamirano's been facing since that Jared Brooks matchup. So I got to go Tim Elliott, and I'm leaning towards Tim Elliott by submission at plus 500. He's not knocking him out.
I love the plus 500 stab, but maybe we do just take the finish just because he really did call that knockout. But the more you talk about it, though,
plus 1,200.
Wow. The more you talk about it, though, the more I do not want any part of the dog shot I was very much considering earlier in the week. I think that Tim, unless I see something during weigh-ins, or he looks good, man. He looks ready. He seems focused, and I'm not sure that Victor Altamirano really has anything for him. I mean, he knocked out Daniel Lacerda de Silva. I mean, like, that doesn't mean shit, knocking that guy
yeah,
out.
after getting knocked down himself.
And in beating Vinicius Salvador, that guy's fucking insane. He does he's just crazy. To me, he just reminded me like of a capoeira hobo. Like, he's just crazy looking. I don't know why. He's just crazy to me. And then the Carlos Hernandez fight was tough as shit. That was a close fight. But that's kind of the point. I just think Tim Elliott's gonna be really tough for him, and well, I'll see what he's got. Let's go. But to your point, you can't lay minus 180 on Tim Elliott here. Absolutely not.
Nope. So definitely not going to do it. I'll pick Tim Elliott officially here. But yeah, if I have a little degenerate parlay, shout out Mushroom. Yeah, he'll probably find his way in there. I got a few minus 180s I'm looking to throw in there that I'm picking and not playing outright. But hey, you throw like a little 1 unit or less on enough of these guys put together. And if somehow you're right, then hey, you have a nice little night, right? But all right, we're moving on to our next fight here. Karina Silva versus Caitlin Souza. We got Karina Killer Silva versus Esquentadinha.
Wow, Silva. That's impressive. Esquentadinha. What the fuck does that mean?
Esquentadinha. I don't know. We'll go ahead and look that up. But
how are you so good at pronouncing and you don't know what it means? That's bullshit.
I don't know. I mean, I just fucking.
I just fucking what? Let's go. Let's keep moving.
So yeah, I mean, so ultimately, I got. Oh yeah, we said the Gen Parlay Mushroom MMA. Yeah, and you use the Waterboy method. You see cream across the stage. That's funny. So Caitlin Souza going to be the smaller fighter here, coming up, making her debut. Karina Silva should be the more dangerous fighter. I'm feeling. I think she's pretty opportunistic in how she hurts opponents, but goes for the choke. It's not like she's necessarily always looking for ground and pound and gassing out doing that. So the real question is Souza. I mean, she showed definitely a few improvements from like her earlier tape to her latest tape in the championship fight in LFA, but it's still not really like the best type of stuff you want to see.
I was not super impressed with much that I saw from Caitlin Souza, especially in her last fight that she guts it out against what's that chick's name? In the last fight.
Esquentadinha means warmed up, by the way.
Thank you. Against Christina Williams. So I was not impressed with what I saw in that 5-round affair with Christina Williams. And just at the end of the day, Christina Williams was somebody that wanted to, be clean and pick her apart from the outside and didn't really want to engage at a high clip. And Karina Silva is a freaking train wreck. Like, she comes barreling at you, high pace, high finishing ability, is just somebody extremely aggressive, good at managing distance herself, just extremely really just seem extremely aggressive, and like TB said, wants to go for that submission, wants to go for that knockout. Has 8 KOs and 7 wins, 11 round 1 finishes. So I honestly like her by finish here. So, when you can get a fight doesn't go the distance type prop at minus 150, I don't really like. But even a fight doesn't start round 3, I might even take the dart throw type shot of Karina Silva round 1. You can get her by KO at plus 450, submission at plus 165. So I probably would just take the finish, but this girl's been KO'd twice already. Once with once she's been KO'd by leg kicks.
Yeah, I mean, basically every time they've lost, aside for one fight for Karina Silva, has been by finish. Out of their 7 total losses, 6 are by finish. I love the fight doesn't go the distance here. I think you could play it at juice and be happy. Under 2.5 at minus 120. Sure enough, sounds good to me. Might as well. I think then it covers you in case Silva pulls a stunt and Souza finishes her, hands down, swinging wild, running into the pocket. She has some tricky, armbar stuff from bottom, but she's also too willing to stay there. So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, don't fucking bet this fight. Come on.
No, I'm not necessarily sure I agree. I do like Karina Silva by finish. I do like that prop.
What is the number again?
I don't know if I even have it. Karina Silva by finish is plus 110.
Fuck that. Pass.
I disagree completely, but that's fine.
All right. Follow the guru at your own risk. So
listen, you're right. I mean, it is women's MMA, but I really like Karina Silva to get a finish.
Yeah. I'm learning my lesson about
this chick does not have the butter to me. She doesn't have the butter.
I feel like, would it be true if you just bet all women's underdogs for the entire year plus 200 or more, or like plus 150 or more? Would you?
I don't know. Do your own fucking experiment. Do your own experiment. What the fuck? My guess would be no. Probably not.
All right, fair enough. Touche. Please like and subscribe for more of our degenerate interactions. All
right, let's go. Main card. No, not the main card opener, right?
No. The curtain jerker. The headlining prelim. We got a bunch of Malarkey out here. We got Jamie Malarkey versus Mohamed Naimov. It's actually 2 of the most popular names from Western and Eastern cultures.
We got
Mohamed and John put together to make the Super Naimov.
You're wild. That's funny as fuck.
Right. Anyway, so
what's Jamie Malarkey's nickname, by the way?
He's a bunch of malarkey. He doesn't need a nickname.
Jamie, he's a bunch of malarkey.
That's a pretty good nickname.
It's terrible.
Jamie Malarkey. I mean, listen, do I recommend
I like Jamie Malarkey by decision here, or at least a round 3 decision. Mohamed was at least decent enough in terms of being patient in his striking and having some power. But I got to be honest, I was really not very impressed with anything that I saw from him. He beats Dylan Schultz, a guy that's 4-3 by head kick in round one. Dude goes to block down, gets hit right in the head and goes to sleep. I watched his fight before that versus Sidik Mudiev, and he didn't beat Mudiev. I thought he lost rounds 1 and 2, and maybe got round 3. He wins the split decision there. Good for him. And then he beats a guy named Anders Ponce, who's 5-6-1. He submits him in round 1 with a triangle choke. Just kind of took him down and stayed on top of him until he, and ended up choking him out in the scramble. I don't really like. I get some of the value boys taking Mohamed here. He literally trains in Vegas. Like, I just think he was available. Oh, he at least an elevation fight team. Like, he was in the area.
Two things. It's quite simple. He's moving up a fucking weight class to make a short notice debut. He's 3 inches shorter, 4 inches less reach, and Jamie Buncham fucking Malarkey maybe should be minus 410 or minus 500 against this motherfucker. And it might be by decision. It might be boring as fuck. But Jamie Malarkey should win this fight. Don't go parlay minus 410 or anything. But, I mean, the fight goes the distance here. What do we got on that? I mean, I don't think they even gave us fucking anything as far as that goes. They didn't even give me an over. So,
yeah, but I just think that at the price they're gonna really, and I think the narrative is gonna be that Jamie Malarkey is gonna knock him out. And Jamie Malarkey is not a power knockout guy; he's a volume knockout guy. And I think with some grappling mixed in, and Jamie Malarkey being a bunch of malarkey, I just think the fight goes the distance. I really like that.
Well, I mean, Malarkey showed that he could be safe against a solid young finisher in Prado. That was actually supposed to be at that weight class on actual regular notice, right?
I don't know, honestly, and I admit it right here live on air. I have no idea how I missed that Mohamed is a featherweight, and he took this fight up a weight class. I totally missed it.
Okay. That's what TV is here for, baby. I got you. All right. So now we've went ahead and taken the minus 500 favorite on the card. That was actually the biggest underdog before that. We come to another dead even fight. We've got Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov versus Alazu Zaleski dos Santos, combining for the longest name combination on this card. We've got who DC just refuses to call by his actual name, but just calls him Manop on the broadcast because I've known him a long time. That's what we call him in the gym. It's like, bro, that's not his actual listed nickname. You got to chill. And then
Zaleski doesn't Santos have a listed nickname, so guess what I'm listing as his nickname right now?
Manop.
That's actually very smart of you to realize that.
I got you. And that's so funny what it's autocorrecting to. Then Zaleski dos Santos, is he Capoeira? Is that his nickname?
Yeah.
Just straight up Capoeira.
Yeah, that's his nickname. That's his background. That's his life. It's his Instagram handle.
It's like ball is life, but Capoeira is life.
Yeah.
Or what is Ted Lasso?
Football is life.
Football is life. Shout out Ted Lasso. Yeah, all right. So anyways, I like Dos Santos here.
I do too. I started. Let's just hear why. So Zaleski dos Santos has the pace numbers. He's got the power. He's dangerous on the feet. He is relentless coming forward, and with his spinning and powers is ridiculous. And I just was like, my big concern was like, okay, Manop is gonna just try to grapple fuck you. That's what he wants to do. What happens when he does that? Dude, homie gets submitted. Homie gets submitted by freaking what's his face? Homie gets submitted by David Zawada. Thanks for that, by the way. He gets submitted by David Zawada. He gets submitted in PFL by Pavel Kush. So I just don't really
smoking that Kush.
He was got knocked out by Magomed Mustafayev before. So I just feel that, and by the way, this was what I watched and learned from the tape, because, Zaleski hasn't fought in how long? 2 years, was suspended a year for fucking steroids. But he has very good jiu-jitsu and was able against Amir Albazi to shoot for leg locks and was able to use them to get up. And that was basically the last time he fought somebody from Dagestan. But hey, he's fought somebody from Dagestan and was successful. And I honestly think Omari Akhmedov in his prime is a much better wrestler than Abubakar Nurmagomedov, even now. It's just, does Zaleski de Santos still have it, which is why the lines at Pick'em. But I think the lines are actually maybe starting to slide. I thought I saw Zaleski starting to pull away as a little bit of a favorite. But I do like Zaleski de Santos here. He's the bigger guy, more explosive guy.
I
But
thought you had an interesting dart throw that you had texted me.
Yeah. So, but there's no line on it yet, obviously. But when it opens up,
so Santos by submission is plus 900.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, yeah,
could be cute. If Zawada can sub you, I mean, why can't Zaleski?
And he has extremely underrated jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt. So he's training with very high level jiu-jitsu black belts. I wouldn't be surprised. So, yeah, moving on.
Yeah. And Manop's lost every fight by finish that he's lost, so that's ugly as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. He's not good, man. He is not part of Father's plan.
Oh God. All right, we talked about ugly as fuck. Oh Jesus Christ. We got Andre
this fight has been giving me Ajita all fucking week.
You don't want to give Guru Ajita, I'll tell you that.
I don't want no Ajita.
We got Andre the Pitbull Arlovski versus Dontel Lord Kong Mays. Fuck, man. Andre Arlovski, where are you at? That's the biggest question. If you are 20% of the man you were in the, what was this last win? Jared Bandera, where he lands 60 out of 128. Even Jay Collier fight, which, I put that red. He actually fucking won that one. So, yeah, I mean, listen, Andre Arlovski, if you can come out here and throw and land, you can throw over 100 strikes and land over 50, bro, you're going to fucking beat Lord Kong. The dude the most he's ever thrown is 126. The most he's ever landed is 54. He couldn't knock out Roque Martinez. He did knock out Josh Parisian, but that was by like crotch banging. Then he couldn't knock out Augusto Sakai. You want to talk about gigantic red flags. Dontel Mays, you probably have no business in the UFC at this point, besides the fact that 1, you're at heavyweight, and 2, you have crazy measurables. And the fact that somehow Andre Arlovski's reach at 44 inches. So he's going to hold a 37-inch reach advantage over Andre Arlovski, according to my stats. Yeah, that's fucked up. Anyways, listen, Andre Arlovski should win this fight. And the fact that he's an underdog to Dontel Mays is disgusting. But if you're betting money on this fight, I know Uncle Weezy's showing your house with a bag of oranges. So, Guru, why don't you go ahead and tell the people why Uncle Weezy's at your door right now?
Because I thought that you maybe agreed with it. I got Dontel Mays at plus 100, and that's why I've got so much Ajita, because I got Dontel Mays at unit for like a plus 100, and the line flipped, and you cannot find Dontel Mays anywhere as an underdog, but you can get.
Oh my God.
Just as we said his name, what were your ears burning? That's crazy.
He's here with the oranges. He's here with the oranges. Hi.
Oh my God, that's amazing. He's here with the oranges. Yeah, Uncle Weezy, I got Dontel Mays at plus 100 for a unit. I can cash out. I don't believe it even at some sort of. It won't cost me anything to cash out. But do I leave my unit on Dontel Mays at plus 100? Do I flip it and put it on Arlovski at plus 100? Do I I wanted to bet the fight to go the distance. I thought that would be plus money. They're already hip to it at minus 190. Like, Jesus Christ. Uncle Weezy, what do I do?
Man, they got this fight
Talk to me.
Covered. Oh God. I mean, listen, I want this fight to go the distance. I would say this fight goes to ugly, sketchy split decision. Who the fuck is actually winning this fight decisively? Nobody.
Uncle Weezy bet it. He parlayed the over 2.5 at minus 190.
Let's go. Well, that's better than taking a fucking side, because I know nobody's finishing each other unless Arlovski is as shot as it gets. But I don't think getting finished by Rogerio de Lima is really as shot as it gets, quite frankly.
Listen, when you have the age and the size and the athleticism, it really should be in your favor. The problem is the tape is not. He's
It's
just so
disgusting.
he's so bad.
Bro,
He did
Roky fucking Martinez lands 54 out of
that fight
107 and
that
has
fight
172 seconds in control. What the fuck?
that fight and his fight with Cyril Gane are his two best fights. When you lose to Cyril Gane in round 3 and you land 54 strikes on Roky Martinez, you get outlanded by Roky Martinez and win. And those are your two best fights. What the fuck are we talking about? I just don't know.
Yeah, it's gross.
What did Weezy say?
He has no idea who's winning, but he picked Mace because the age, size, and length. But yeah, both these guys do lick balls.
Yeah, they do.
And that's before that.
Thanks for dropping by, Unc. I really appreciate it. We got to have you back on the show again soon, my brother.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. One of the busiest and most hardworking people in the space. Give a shout out.
Unbelievable.
Make sure you're following Uncle Weezy. Throw a like on the video if you haven't already.
Check
We
out the
appreciate
MMA
you guys.
engine.
Yeah, hell yeah. All of the guys over there. DFS, Lou, Monk, Weezy. What a fucking crew. Those guys are amazing.
The boys.
Oh boy. We got this sexy Mexi, John Castaneda versus the sexy Tajik, Muin Gaffarov.
Yes. Do you see that back hair? Do you see that patch of back hair? I've never
Who else can bring that to the table?
Nobody. He is the fucking table, pal.
This sexy Tajik. The Tajik sexiness.
Sexy.
Yeah. So, Castaneda here, man. Castaneda. What are we gonna do with you?
Nothing. We're not playing him. This line opened like minus 300 or whatever, and everybody knew that Gaffarov, with his wrestling and his ability to just make the fight fucking difficult. He's got crazy spinning wheel kicks. He's got good top control. He's willing to swing really heavy because of his comfortability grappling. The problem is Castaneda is not going to get a fucking break. And I don't care. He can tell me all he wants that he had the flu and that's why he lost to Daniel Santos. But to me, it was the grappling. It was the scrambles. It was everything else that made him tired. And the fact that fucking Santos didn't go away. But my God, you knocked that guy down 4 times and you can't finish him. To me, that is not, it's just unlucky. Santos just tough. To me, that's like poor fight IQ, poor finishing. It's just, I was completely unimpressed with Sexy Mexi. And I was unimpressed before that fight. So that's why I picked Santos. So I like Gaffarov here to make his life difficult. He lost on Dana White Contender Series to a guy worse than him because he blew his fucking wad, man. He really he gets dropped in round 1 towards the end, then wins round 2 and is just completely gassed and unsuccessful to get his takedowns against Anglin in round 3. And then inevitably loses a split decision as the biggest favorite on the card that night to not get the Dana White Contender Series contract. But he's here now, and I got him plus money to beat John Castaneda here because when was the last time? Tell me the last time Castaneda fought a wrestler. I'm done.
All right, John Castaneda. Geez, I mean, I can't really give you a great answer on that one, my friend. I don't think, at least in the UFC, that he has faced a dedicated wrestler. I mean, his opponents have shot a solid amount on him, as you see, like 4 takedowns per 15. A lot of that, though, is
all of it was Daniel Santos.
Exactly, a guy that knew he needed to test that aspect of his game, and I mean, that was a fire.
A guy that was halfway unconscious and shooting takedowns.
Right, but I think ultimately, Gaffarov here, he's faced an extremely high level of competition for someone that was not at the UFC. I mean, he faces John Lineker, loses a decision. I mean, God bless. Reese McLaren, Kevin Bellingham was 13-5 at the time he fought him, but won championship. I mean, that was a legitimate opponent. All these guys, it's all decisions. He loses to Ann Helliger, but I mean, that is a pretty solid opponent. You could even make an argument for him pulling off the victory in that fight. It was close enough. I don't think it was, too extreme in either direction, but I think ultimately that Gaffarov here, he was supposed to fight Movsar Evliev back in 2019, but one wouldn't let him leave his contract. He's supposed to fight Movlid Kabuliev on UAE Warriors. Gaffarov has, some issues going into the fight, has to withdraw. I get it, not wanting to face those guys, but you're facing the sexy Maxi. I think Gaffarov's got this thing covered. 1 on the feet, 2 on the mat. I've seen him in deep armbar attempts, just completely unbothered because he knows how to positionally work his body in top control. He's not getting submitted. He's not getting finished. Gaffarov is winning this fight. I got him plus 110. Let's go.
Let's ride, baby. Arr, arr. That's the dogs barking. Arr.
Oh, God.
I'm startled.
My word. So, hey, look, a friendly, familiar face and a fight we've broken down before.
Yeah, make sure you check out our 288 breakdown for that one, baby. That was sick. But It was less sick not watching it live when we expected to.
And not getting minus fucking 150 on Daniel Santos.
Exactly. We had minus 150, minus 160 on Daniel Santos. The line reopens now here at minus 210. You can't trust Daniel Santos at minus 210. He absolutely should win the fight. There's nothing to me that's even remotely stands off the page about Johnny Munoz, other than his ability to get a submission. Submission. That's literally what he does. He's a submission guy. He has 7 wins by submission. So other than heard like a club and sub, like Santos is the better grappler. He's the better striker. He's more aggressive. He's got power. You watched him. Yeah, you watched his pressure versus John Castaneda was absolutely face melting. And that's one of the major reasons why he was able to win. His shape must be incredible. Yeah, his cardio does burn out, but it's because he fucking comes at you at 150% because he's fucking sick. So thanks, Uncle Weezy, for still hanging out, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Literally, I like Santos here. Don't trust him at minus 210. Maybe some violence. Maybe like a fight. Like a fight doesn't even start 2 type of prop, like just some crazy violence. Like,
listen, if Tony Gravely's knocking you out in round 1,
yeah, I don't even love this card that much from a betting perspective, but I'm so excited to watch live fights, and I'll definitely have a few plays.
Tajik, what's going on? He's here for our boy, the sexy Tajik, Muin Gaffarov. He made it just in time. We just missed that. What's going on, Tajik? So we got
the GOAT,
Willie Cat and Kid Kfembo. So I'm on the Willie Cat. Willie Cat.
Yeah, gotta be on Willie Cat here.
He's a shoot the box wars. He's so used to the
but listen, same idea we've been preaching all night long. These favorites are not worthy. They're not worthy. Daniel Santos got dropped. You can watch the fight. Please watch the fight. It's hysterical. It's a great fight. He gets knocked down 4 fucking times by Castaneda. Bad. Like another ref may just stop it on impact, but it doesn't get stopped by Mr. Keith Peterson. So
no nonsense.
Just you can't trust him with your money. You can't trust him in your big parlay. It's not worth it. So find your little prop, find your little degenerate play, and let's bounce out of here. I think I would say, what can we get? Do we even have a line? Santos by finish? Probably not, right? No.
No, they're not giving us any fucking props right now. It's terrible.
Yeah. So it's a Santos by finish. Santos round 1 or 2. Santos under 1.5. But you know what I'm saying? You don't need to anything crazy on that. So let's move on. You break this one down, TB. This is all you.
All right. I got the biggest bet of my life on this fight ever in my life.
I wish we got good odds. I wish though.
Nah. So Elise Reed, minus 130. Jinyu Fry plus 110. Over 2.5 minus 255. Under 2.5 plus 205. Elise Reed coming in. She's actually a pretty solid kickboxer. Absolutely brutal when opponents take her down to the mat. So Jinyu Fry, what's one thing that we would want you to do to be successful in this fight? Go for takedowns, get control, consolidate, win the fight over Elise Reed. I don't trust Jinyu Fry to do it. Only time I've ever seen successful with her grappling against Gloria De Paula. 2 of 3 takedowns, 573 seconds of control. That basically means she landed 2 of the takedowns, won 2 rounds in their entirety, 5 minutes of control each. You couldn't do any more. I don't think Elise Reed's is that bad. It's not that bad. Like Sam Hughes really, really dug in and put in that work. I don't think Jinyu Fry does anything in enough volume to even threaten anywhere near any of that shit against
Oh,
Elise Reed.
no volume, no power, no footwork, struggles with the defense, coming off a huge knockout, struggles with takedown defense, struggles to get up from the ground. What is she gonna do? Elise Reed's a cardio machine, doesn't stop coming forward, fucking eats everything because she doesn't give a fuck, and is gonna try to take you down.
Yeah,
She
and I think her offense has been muted facing the higher level distance strikers. But I mean, Corey McKenna, she landed 70 out of 131. When the fuck, like, oh yeah, the Jinyu Fry was able to land a high amount of strikes against Ashley Yoder. Congratulations! This isn't Elise Reed is not as slow or unathletic as Ashley Yoder. I don't know. So I like Elise
that
Reed
was
here. I
already
got
years
one.
ago. Listen, and again, we're just transparent. It's tough to recommend Elise Reed at -130 when we've got our unit play at +100. So
Biggest bet of my life.
listen, I wish I at least put 2 units because I expected the line to flip. I didn't think it was gonna like slide this crazy. But, I think they're seeing what we're seeing in the younger fighter that just has all the paths to win. I just don't really see much for Jinyu at all. Elise would have to be extremely unsuccessful with the takedowns and not be throwing strikes, just get pieced the fuck up. And yeah, she's only had that many strikes versus Yoder because Yoder's a grappler who doesn't know how to. I don't even know if she's in the UFC anymore. So anyway, I like Elise Reed.
Amen. So, got our next fight here. Second to last one to break down on this card. We got Damon Blackshear. The Monster versus Luan Lacerda. Le Monster. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a nickname down here for him. So, Damon at +125. Lacerda at -145. Got the over 2.5 at -180. Under 2.5 at +145. I'm very inclined to say this fight goes the distance. Damon Blackshear's only losses have ever been by decision, and he's faced a pretty solid level of competition and guys like, Moutinho. Okay, all right, that's the lowest rung, I promise. Then you got Pat Sabatini, Danny Sabatello, Javid Basharat, Farid Basharat. Those are all pretty good names and guys that definitely have finishing potential. I don't think Luan Lacerda has the same level of finishing potential, and I think Blackshear's proven to have the durability and willingness to just survive, even if he's not trying to get up or do anything offensive. I think he does enough to make it there when he's not on 2 days' notice and gets 10-8'd in round 3 when he's gassed out. So I like the fight goes the distance. I'm not planting my flag heavy on his side, but I'll pick Lacerda. Kind of.
I really like fight goes the distance here, and I like Luan Lacerda here. I'm just a little over impressed with his Cody Stamann performance, but I was really impressed with his Cody Stamann performance. Cody's somebody that has found a really good way to be well-rounded. His striking is extremely fluid. And Lewin, while he's somebody that generally does kind of throw like a strike at a time, right? You won't see him throw in combination that much, but he still has a high output and he's still a good counter striker and he's still got power. He throws with so much power because he's so not worried about going to the ground. And you see that with his high level jiu-jitsu. The one problem I have with Damon, there's a big problem with Damon Blackshear. It's the sore thumb through all his fights. When he gets taken down, he does not get up. It's a huge problem. He's too willing to play jiu-jitsu on his back, and he doesn't get up. I'm not even sure if he's got the ability. Luan Lacerda is somebody with unbelievable scrambles and jiu-jitsu. You watch him get up from Cody fucking Stamann. You know Cody wanted to take that fight down, and he fucking couldn't. So, if Luan gets on top here, Damon's not getting up. But if Damon gets on top, I know Luan's going to scramble and get back. I don't necessarily think either one of them submits each other, which is why I do like that fight going the distance prop. But I really do like Luan Lacerda here. We'll see if it's just recency bias. This is why I love fucking fights. I can't wait to see whether I'm right or wrong. I can't wait to see this matchup. But I like Luan Lacerda here.
Wait, Guru, I thought you like watching fights. You like fucking fights? Oh my god!
I said watching. Oh, I said that's
you
weird.
like
fucking fights.
You like fucking fights.
You ever watched Evolve fights? That shit's awesome.
Oh my god! All right, so yeah, I think we're on the same side. Guru seems a little bit more convinced than me on the Lacerda, but you know, we'll see if he can tickle me into a play. I doubt it though. I think we got to keep it tight to the vest here for this card. A lot of learning and a lot more to be placed for UFC 289, right?
Yeah, let's get to that That's that real curtain jerker. That card opener.
Ooh, let's go. We've
all been waiting for.
We got Felipe Monstro Leans. Monstro finally showed up at light heavyweight, and then we got Maximus Grishin coming back the other way. We got Grishin, the -135 favorite, Leans at +115, over 2.5 at -155, under 2.5 at +125. I must say I was impressed with Grishin's overall striking game on tape as I went back and dug more into it. And, you know, I'm not convinced that Lins can just go out there and just get tons of top control and all that on Grishin. But I do think that Lins will be the more dangerous striker, that he should come in as a bit better of an athlete. And I think he could do enough with the offensive takedowns. And then I don't think that Lins is in danger of being taken down by Maxim Grishin. I think he's shown good hips, good athleticism, and a BJJ black belt that makes me believe that Maxim Grishin, especially at light heavyweight, isn't getting Lins on the mat. So at +140 last Saturday, I threw a couple units on Felipe Lins, and now I struggle with the debate of if he doesn't come in looking like he's on, you know, all of his vitamins at weigh-ins, then I'll have a decision to make. But I think if he comes in as the best version of Felipe, the Monstro that we've seen back at 205, I feel comfortable taking the dog in this spot and risking a little bit on it. I think Grishin's leg kicks could be an issue.
Yeah,
I got to go Lins.
I also think that, you know, Lins will be willing to at least shoot for a takedown or push against the cage and clinch if he's getting chopped up too badly for some reason. But yeah, he should be the one that has the power. You may say that Grishin has some size, which he does, but he's not necessarily somebody that really uses it like that. He only uses it when he wants to be fat and hold you against the cage. And I'm just not sure that Lins is going to be controlled in that way. 5% opponent control time, whereas Grishin has shown himself to be the one controlled with an opponent control time of 27%. So
Marcin Tybura at heavyweight on a week's notice.
That's fair.
But I mean, he still gets controlled for 2.5 minutes by William Knight, 2.5 minutes by Gaji Murov,
and he gets and controlled by nearly a minute by Jacoby, who is a fucking kickboxer. Yeah. So I like our +140 on fucking Lins here. +115, certainly not as juicy. I really like the fight going the distance. I don't necessarily see it finish.
Fair enough. And ultimately, I mean, as a little bit of a recap, you know, really appreciate it if you guys would go ahead, like the video here, subscribe to our channel. Always free. Best bets, best guess, always free picks. And we appreciate all you guys always tuning in. We got Elise Reed. That's probably the most solid of plays already locked in at +100. But Felipe Lins at +140 earlier in the week we got. Then we're waiting to see what that final line on Albazi is. If we can get a little plus money, we're going to have to dabble. If not, you'll get at least a -110 there. And then, Yeah, we had a couple other overs, stuff like that, but make sure you check out our Bet MMA. And just want to say thank you one more time to everyone in the chat and really appreciate everyone coming out, hanging out with us. And it wouldn't be the same without how amazing this community is. And it really means a lot that everyone decides to spend some of their Wednesday hanging out with the Chronic Boys. So, I mean, Guru,
Absolutely.
why don't you do your thing? You do it the best. Take us away,
Yeah,
my friend.
I don't do it the best, but I appreciate you, bud. And I really, like you said, I appreciate everybody in the chat. Uncle Wheezy, man, hanging out with us. Daz hanging out with us. Justin, Anthony, Mushroom, all the boys. Really, really appreciate you guys. 40, oh, 40 just hanging through. Hey, baby. What's going on? Listen, make sure you follow my awesome co-host, TB Scouting MMA, on Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. You can follow me, The Guru Scouting MMA, Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. Oh my God, and Tajik, of course, coming through. And listen, guys, take care. Brush your hair. We'll be back next fucking week for UFC 289. Amanda Nunes taking on Irene Aldana, the fight that everybody's been waiting for. So make sure you tune in. You don't want to miss it. See you then.